is run by who? You know who. Because if you were run by what really matters, meaning your heart and your spirit, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. Okay, we'd be flying high. What does that mean? Fly high? First, love yourself. So let's move on. I want to talk about a couple things really quickly here. So the first thing is inflammation to cancer, a scar tissue issue. What I want everyone to do is they can send in questions to my intercom. They can send questions in on Facebook or Instagram. Okay? If you go to a surgeon, they want to give you surgery, right? If you go to a drug dealer, he wants to give you drugs. If you go to someone who does chemo and radiation, they're going to give that. They're not going to tell you to go home and take personal action and get your life back. Okay? God love all these people, but they're totally programmed. And yes, my daughter wouldn't be alive without emergency medicine, but guess what? When you make emergency medicine into your health care, into your daily care, you become a 911 emergency. Like that hasn't happened. Emotional states create physical states. Hey, let me tell you something, right? Okay? I mean, I got together with my partner and we decided we'd make 4 babies. Okay? Those 4 babies are now 4 adults. Now, you can very well, with your emotional beliefs, go and create one big fat tumor, can't you? Oh, one big fat headache, can't you? You can create any dis-ease when you're out of ease, okay? And depending on the emotion, will cause the commotion in a certain part of your body, creating issues in your tissues, because when you cannot process a negative emotion, who can? When it's a lie. What do? You store it. Okay, I'm sick to my stomach, right? Okay, I've got a pain in my neck, all right? My heart feels like it's broken, okay? All of it. Every physical thing that happens to the human body is a dysfunctional belief that has not been able to be processed properly because you've never been given the tools. Somebody said, here's a hammer, get that screw out. It didn't work, did it? So understand something. First, we have an energy block. Then we have a physical block. And then we have sickness. But okay, let me explain though. Energy block creates a physical block. And if you go back through the others, you'll learn. I can't go backwards right now. So the reality is with a physical block, of course, you don't have the blood flow, the lymph flow, the energy flow, right? So think about this. The less the flow, the less the oxygen, the less the nutrition, the more toxic your cells are going to become. So until the point that if they lack 35% oxygen, they're going to want to mutate. So here comes sickness. And with blockages, that energy keeps on pushing, trying to push through. And that causes a lot of conflict in the body because energy needs to move. It's got to move. And when it can't move, we call that a headache. We call that a sinus problem. And we can keep going with this. All right? So let's make this really clear. So we can talk about inflammation and we can go all the way to cancer because that's what it is. Okay? Cancer is just inflammation not looked after. Cancer is just really bad care. No self-care. It's called health care. It's called medical care. All right? And there's no self-love here. Very little self-love, more self-hate because we know that cancer is based on hate and anger. And you're going to say, that's not true. She was a beautiful person. Yeah, but deep down inside, she hated someone or hated herself, or she was angry with someone, but she learned to suppress it and not speak her mind. And that just creates a volcano. So the C in cancer stands for what? Corruption, conflict, contamination. Remove the C and you've got the answer. So you've got to remove those things from your mind before they will ever leave your body. And I need everyone to understand that. We showed this slide earlier. Emotional blocks equals snowball effect. Pimple to a cyst? Come on. A pimple is a storage for pus. What do you think a cyst is on your ovaries? It's storage for pus because you've been leaking waste from your large intestine into the soup bowl called the pelvis. So you got to have a cyst. Do you either want cancer? Do you want your ovaries to be cancerous or your uterus to be cancerous? Or would you rather just have a storage tank until you get your act together? Cyst or boil. And then fibroid to a tumor. Okay? Because first of all, you've got endometriosis. It's not cancer causing, but eventually it's going to lead there. If you live long enough and don't die from something else, you're going to get a tumor because you cannot starve off cells and steal 35% of their oxygen without them not mutating because your cells say they want to survive. Everything wants to survive. Okay, so here's the deal. 95% of all the scar tissue that we have in our body is actually caused from an inflamed brain. And that's because of the toxic beliefs that we don't know that we have, that we actually believe that, hey, this is my personality. This is the reality of my personality. But guess what? If you're not willing to change your personality, you're not going to change the reality of your physical body. End of story. End of story. You know what? You actually believe when you're 40 that you're healthy. You actually believe when you're 50 you're healthy, and you're comparing to everybody else. I wouldn't do that. Okay, I'll be 64 years old in 2 months. All right? I don't act it. I don't look it. Never will. Okay? I'm infinite, and that's it. I know that scar tissue is the issue. It's getting out of here. Okay? So this is it. So the more scar tissue you have, the older you feel. The less scar tissue you have, the younger you feel. And that's the bottom line. The more that the calcium stays in the bones, the younger you feel. The more displaced calcium you have, the older you feel. My God, you walk like cement. The more crystallization you have, the more you are beef jerky, because the crystallization and the calcium comes together to take that beef jerky and wall it off. So the stiffer you are, the less range of motion you have, the more physical blocks you have in your body. Until guess what? You can have adhesions that will actually just tie off your intestines, and then you can't poop or pee anymore. Best way to know that when you're going downhill, you know what? I can't pee as well anymore. Or, you know what? I go to pee and it doesn't come out. Or I can't seem to poo anymore. Or I've got diarrhea all the time. These are all showing you that you're on your way out. This is on the way out. The better you can poo and pee, the healthier you are. End of story. And don't ever compare yourself to anybody your age, because the medical system every 5 years is downgrading what health is. They do it to the average person, and the average person is the walking dead, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not going to play that game. All right? So web of destruction. And the worst web of destruction is surgery. That's right. So you know what? Every time that you get surgery and you go, oh yeah, my knee is better, but guess what? Your knee is stiff, because surgery creates more scar tissue than anything else. And that's why you need Wolfe Non-Surgical after you get done. Nothing else gets rid of it like our stuff. We'll give you a money-back guarantee that will bring back 80% of your range of motion, usually in the first treatment, but within 3 treatments we'll do it. Or more, or totally. And we'll reduce the first time we do treatment on you, 60 to 80% minimum. We'll get rid of your pain in that area. Think about that one. So then ask yourself, am I telling a lie? Well, you know, I'm not. It's just because nobody's doing it doesn't make it not exist. Just because everybody's doing something doesn't make it right. Just because hardly anyone's doing it doesn't make it wrong. So what we do is we call it Wolfe Non-Surgical, okay? And we can go in there and actually restore the whole pelvis. I mean, women that can't get pregnant. Do you understand something? That today, people are rotting out in their pelvic floor. Whether you're a man or a woman, you're rotting out. Okay, we're all stinking rotten. And you know what? We're rotting from the inside. Our tissue's actually rotting out. Our pelvis is so in trouble. You can't find somebody hardly with a healthy pelvis. So here we go. Healthy deconstruction. So whether you're talking about, when you're talking about a tumor, we can get it to come down to scar tissue, and then we can come down to healthy tissue. And everything about the tumor is guess what? Not enough oxygen, not enough nutrition. And then most tumors, they grow legs, don't they? They can be 2 to 3, 4 inches long. You can follow them. So what we do with Wolfe Non-Surgical is we go in and we first take those legs apart that are feeding the tumor, because the tumor's got its own blood flow. So let's cut its food supply off. Who thinks about that? I got a friend that runs one of the biggest natural cancer clinics in the world. And just a year ago, we're sitting down with him at supper, and I was talking about that whole thing, about how I'm pulling tumors apart and fibroids apart. And I say to him, yeah, but you do understand that a tumor is just mainly scar tissue. And he goes, oh my God, I never really thought about that. Because they either want to radiate it, chemotherapy, or they want to cut it out, or they just want to do infusion and do intravenous and then try to get it to shrink or go away. Well, why don't we just go in there lovingly and knock the legs off, right? And then go find the weak spots of it and start lovingly taking it apart, and then teach that person how to do clapping and patting. Teach that person how to do pelvic activation. Teach that person how to do pelvic squats. Teach that person how to go in there and dissolve this thing. Anything you created, you can uncreate, okay? And understand something. Right now, I'm all about training, not about treatment. Okay? All right? So if you want to just come to me for the rest of your life for treatment, I'm going to try to sell you on training, but I'm not going to turn you away. But the reality is, if you want to get treated for the rest of your life, you're going to get mistreated. All right? Okay, so let's move on. So this is what the non-surgical's like, and it's using the elbow. And what happens is we come across on a 45-degree angle, and we open up the fibers. Or we come in and find a calcium deposit, and we actually break up the calcium deposit by using your bones as the backbone so that it can be carried away. And then we use a product called SAC calcium to get it back into your bones, and it will take it all back into your bones. And then we'll open up that scar tissue like this, and the blood and the lymph and the energy comes in instantaneously right before your eyes. It's like you've got this hard lump scar tissue, and then guess what? It's gone. Where'd it go? Oh my God, I want to get a heart attack from it. What if it blocks my heart? It's not about that. It's about returning the spirit energy, the lymph and the blood. It turns back to the way it was. Nothing really came there except some crystallization from lactic and uric acid and some calcium. We'll return the calcium back to the bones. We'll melt the lactic acid and uric acid. The lymph system will get rid of that. You'll urinate that out. And the beef jerky scar tissue goes back to life because all you were doing was choking it off because it was a physical block. And that's the reality. Okay, so just so you know, we have people coming from all over the world. We are booked every week. But we've had all kinds of people cancel because they can't get here except people that are in Canada. So the reality is this: what are you willing to do? What type of action are you willing to take your life back? Why are you doing what everybody else does and getting what everybody else does? Who does that? I mean, you're never going to know that you're asleep until you're awake. Okay, let's talk about this. Appendix. So you get your appendix taken out, which you never should have done. It makes lymphocytes. It makes white blood cells. It's an infection fighter. But the reality is that if you get a piece of meat caught in there, a little piece of cheese, that thing can blow up because it inflames, right? But after you get the surgery, after 8 weeks, you know what you need to do? You need to have somebody go in there with Wolfe Non-Surgical and take that scar tissue apart, because the scar tissue from the appendix will go and actually grow right in around the ileocecal valve, and you won't be pooping right again forever. And you'll be blocking waste back into your small intestine. And that's the God truth. Don't tell me that you don't feel a tug or a pull there. All right? And you see that scar there on there? I can work on that for 20 minutes and you won't even hardly see it. I'll return it back to connective tissue. I'll restore the life by opening up the fibers. And that's the God's truth. And then we take a look at gallbladder surgery. Well, you got to get your gallbladder cut out when you don't know how to eat properly and you're eating too many fats. And when you've got too much what? Too much what? Too much hate. Because that's where the liver stores the hate, and too much hate will go into the gallbladder because when it's an overflow. And then also when you're eating too many fats, okay, then your gallbladder is going to freak out. You know, I had a friend, and he's a surgeon out of Toronto, and he actually does gallbladder surgeries, and he says that he keeps the gallstones because a lot of times they'll go in there and it's just gas that was pushing up on the gallbladder, so then they have to have somebody else's stones to give to the person who says, I want to take my stones home, I want to show my wife, or whatever. Can you believe that? So anyways, we're going to do the same thing. If we don't go in there and loosen up that scar tissue in there, what do you think is going to happen when your large intestine, the waste comes up right from the cecum and comes around the hepatic flexure across underneath your ribs? That scar tissue is going to wrap around there and you're going to be blocking your waste up. So we got to get rid of it. So let's talk about this, Cesarean scars. Oh, don't you just love this? You know, I think that, you know, what we should do is we should just put zippers in women in case they get pregnant again. We just zip the baby, get the baby out. So I will tell you this, if you are going to get a cesarean though, you want to get about a 2-inch by 2-inch sponge, and then just maybe when you have to go to the hospital and you're going to deliver, put the sponge in your vagina, and then make sure that at least if you're going to do a cesarean, you can rub that sponge all over the baby everywhere, its eyes, its mouth, ears, on its skin, just everywhere, so that you get mommy's good bacteria all over that baby. But here's the deal. Let's talk about what we're talking about. So when you do a cesarean, okay, that is one of the worst things you can do. I have women that come in here, they're crying. They can't make love anymore. It's so painful. The roots from the actual cesarean scar, okay, they actually wrap itself around the small intestine, large intestine, choke it off, go around the pubic bone, or even wrap around the bladder, and you can't pee properly anymore, and you feel that pulling and that struggling all the time. And remember something, 85% of your energy is stored in your abdomen area, and it's also creative. Not anymore, it isn't. And guess what? You see how they just went and they cut right up through the belly button? Well, guess what they just did? They're wrapping scar tissue around the vagus nerve of this woman, which means she's never going to be able to get into a parasympathetic state until she gets rid of that scar tissue. You give me 45 minutes to 1 hour, and I will, after about 6 to 8 weeks after, and I will get rid of all the scar tissue. And then we'll teach her how to do padding and clapping. We'll teach her how to do the pelvic enhancer and the pelvic activation squat, and you can call that goodbye. So then knee surgery. I'm not telling you not to have a knee, but guess what? They want to put foreign objects in us, okay? You know, go to my A to Z guide and read implants to robots, okay? They want some type of a foreign body in everybody's body, and once you have that, then you have just turned on the worst problem you're ever going to have. Did you ever have a sliver? Well, guess what? Now put a foreign body in you, and you're going to say, well, I don't feel that knee replacement too much anymore. Well, that's because the scar tissue is there, but it's still creating all types of toxicity. And that knee replacement, that artificial knee, can actually cause brain disorders. That can actually cause heart problems. So it's going to be somewhere else. It's not going to show up there. And you give me a person with a knee problem, a hip problem, an ankle problem, and I'm telling you, they're not going to surgery, or I won't take one penny from them. And that's the deal. Because you go and you get x-rays anywhere there, and you think there's no tissue left, there's no meniscus left, that everything is torn out, or nope, sorry, it's all gone, you wore it, it's on bone. But what they don't see is the crystallization, the scar tissue formation, and the calcification actually makes it look like, because you can take like tissue that thick and make it paper thin, and it's right on the bone. They don't know that. It's not their fault, but they don't know it, and you're the one getting punished for it. So the other thing is guess what? Most hip replacements are caused because of pelvic inflammation, because of a large intestine problem. Okay, fine. You don't believe me? Then where'd you get the inflammation from? You had to have infection. Got to have infection before inflammation. Okay? And you had to have infection before irritation. And with the inflammation, you got scar tissue formation, which gave you calcification there. And that's the God's truth. And we can turn that around. Same thing with the ankle. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. So me and my partner, we go to Texas to do a lecture. So this was 2 years ago. So anyways, they locked this gate, so we had to climb over this thing, and there was a hole, and her foot went down into the hole, and she didn't know she had osteopenia. So what happened was she actually fractured the tibia and the fibula. The tibia was like a C fracture, and the fibula was 2 inches long, and it was almost 1/8 of a fracture. Do you know what kind of split that is? They said it's impossible to heal, and you're a fool. And I said, and they said, we need to put some screws, some plates, and we need to strip the tissue back, and then we're going to screw that together. And I said, how long is it going to take to heal? They said, well, about a year. And I said, well, it's only going to take us a year to get her fixed. And they said, it's impossible. You can't do it. So we actually went back to the hospital and showed them. And guess what? They couldn't say a word. We went back to show the surgeon, the gentleman who wanted to do it. Anyway, she's walking on it. It's totally filled in. You got to know what you're doing, people. And we used a product called SAC calcium. And I'm trying to do some pitch here, but I'm trying to tell you there's only one calcium in the world that could ever do that. And then also with using our Wolfe Non-Surgical, we brought that whole thing back to normal. End of story. Okay? So look at, you know what? We can take the impossible and make it possible. You can take the we can't turn this around and turn it around. So let's take surgery. Same thing. Before you go for surgery, I'm going to tell you something. You might not want to do it, because I'll tell you, your body heals so well. And you know what? Right there is your spine, is where your spinal fluid is. It carries more light, more communication, more information than anything else in the body of all the liquids to your brain. And then you go and put any type of a device in your spine, you're going to shut that right down. And remember something, your pelvis, we've got to get your pelvis back to normal, because that's the root chakra that collects all the energy, okay? All the energy that goes up through the spine to go to your brain. So look at, when you have somebody say they've got dementia or they've got some type of a learning disability, You know, even children, if they have a learning disability, if you clap their spine lovingly for a half an hour, wait until you see what happens. There's lots of tricks here, people. And this is what we teach people when we do personal treatment and training. And people come here for 7 days, or we go to them anywhere around the world. We go to families and teach them. We go in their cupboards, we go in their fridge, we go in their mind, and we teach them how to do the Wolfe Non-Surgical on each other. All right? As long as they're over 12 years old, we'll teach a whole family. Because I'll tell you something, there's where the power is when it comes to family. All right, so all of this stuff, okay, you know, this is a spinal fusion here where they had to put in fake discs. I guarantee you that 99% of everybody that has to have it, unless they were in some type of terrible surgery, if it's a wear and tear disease, okay, because guess what? There's no such thing as a slip disc. Where'd it go? Down your pants? Is it in your underwear? Okay, it's just bulging because it's inflamed. And if it's thinned out, that's because it's beef jerky. I already taught you that. All right? So carpal tunnel syndrome, all right, if you don't want to get the surgery, that would take us maybe between doing Wolfe Non-Surgical, doing some one-shot therapy, and then doing doing some clapping and padding. I promise you it will never come back. And you will reverse this. You know, did you forget who created you? I mean, can you see the manipulation here? I mean, you only need to see a doctor, honestly, once a year for an emergency. Who's going to have an emergency more than that? I've never had a surgery yet, except to have my tonsils out. You're not broken. You know, my grandmother thought she had to have a surgery every 2 or 3 years with my father too. My father had 17 surgeries. You know, as long as you keep on just cutting pieces out, you're going to be brand new. I don't know who got that one. Heart surgery, same thing. Do you know how you can reverse heart problems? So easy. If you're willing to do advanced water fasting, and anybody that's got a heart problem, okay, and they think they've got a heart problem, get them to lay down, and you'll see, even if they're right-handed, on the left side will be a 1/4 inch to a whole inch higher. And that's because you wrapped all this scar tissue around here because your heart is a recorder of love. And you've got it all crystallized, calcified. So we'll go in there and we'll gently pull this apart. We'll get you to clap in here. This is the heart meridian here to start opening things up. And then we'll get you to maybe do the perfect day diet, or get you to do advanced water fasting. And we'll clean those arteries out like whistle. Everything will reverse itself. Why did you give up on your creator? You did. You told me you have faith. You don't have faith. Maybe you read something like called the Bible or some other book. That's not faith. Faith is in your body. If you got faith in your creator, then you got to have faith in your body. Nobody has faith in their body. Hardly ever anymore. Where did that go? Because we were programmed. It's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's your body, it's your vehicle, it's your earth suit, so look after it. Okay, frozen shoulder, same thing. You can go and get all this surgery done, and if you do, then come to see us, because guess what? It's going to be massive scar tissue. We'll lovingly take it apart after it's healed, or you can just come to see us and not have the surgery at all. Oh my God, people, it's scar tissue. We had scar tissue from the beginning of time. And we have it now, but we have way more scar tissue because we're an inflammation nation and we're out of control. That's it. I'm all knotted up. That's right. We're just naughty boys and girls, aren't we? That's what we are. Okay, same thing, a bunion. It's all a bunion is scar tissue calcification crystallization. And you know, my partner had the hugest bunion, and it took us about, I'd say about 5 weeks, and it wasn't working on it every day. It was soaking it with DMSO. Using our really strong pain away essential oil that we make. Okay, and then she was clapping it, and then I'd go in and I'd do the non-surgical on it, but I only had to do the non-surgical on it twice after we soaked it. You know, it's like anything else. I can't get the door open, it's rusted. Well, what are you going to do? Jack the thing open like it's surgery and rip it off? Or you're going to go use a little bit of WD-40, let it loosen up, and then go in there and then do the job. I mean, come on. You'll know when you totally love yourself, because you're going to say, there's got to be a loving way to do this. There's got to be I don't need to have someone stab me. I don't need to have someone poison me. I don't need to anymore. So everything's about vibration, and you're going to pick the therapy that you vibrate at. So again, abdominal surgery, same type of thing, okay? All right? Pelvic surgery, and whether we're talking about endometriosis, whether we're talking about fibroids or a fallopian tube problem because you got scar tissue, because you got inflammation, you're still going to get pregnant. You know, the scar tissue in your fallopian tubes can be dissolved as well. All right? So the same thing, if you go and you have a breast lift, or you have any type of breast surgery, or you've never had breast surgery, I'm going to tell you something right now. If you've worn a bra that has a wire in it, that's an antenna, and you've been picking up all the Wi-Fi, I mean, geez, what did you think these were? Radios? So the reality is you're going to have scar tissue under here. Every woman that comes into us, we do what's called a breast lift. We go in here, do Wolfe Non-Surgical in here. You're going to feel a whole band of rope. Here, it's going to be all crystallized and calcified because of the bra. And underneath your arm, you're going to feel a big pad right there from the bra strap. And that's what we take apart. And those are the things you got to do if you don't want to end up getting breast problems. Okay? And if you ever feel any fat under your arm, it's not fat. It's your lymph system is so blocked up and congested. And you want to go in there and start patting and clapping that and then get some Wolfe Non-Surgical. It's like this, guys. I know I make it seem easy, but it is. It is easy. It's just we don't know. So whether you're talking about a hysterectomy, okay, you don't need to do a hysterectomy first. Look, if you're in a life-threatening situation, then you go ahead and do a life-threatening treatment. But if you're not in a life-threatening situation, why aren't you giving you a chance? Why aren't you giving your creator a chance to show you what he created? The most amazing healing device on the planet, maybe in the universe. I can't say for sure, but what about a myomectomy? That's where you're taking off a little fibroid, okay? All right, off the uterus. You can dissolve this. I'm telling you, we do it. We have been doing it. I've been doing it now for 30 years. So remember, the invisible creates the physical. The invisible creates the physical. And guess what? Your government, media, corporations, here you go. There's your cane. There's your walker. There's your wheelchair. There's your bed. Get in it. All right? So you're being sold off by the pound. All right? I want you to go home tonight, and I want you to be really quiet because God only whispers. And then you're going to find out. Then you're going to find out what you truly are. Anyways, this is just a picture of our Wolfe Non-Surgical. We do what's called Wolfe Non-Surgical Certified. Okay? I don't care if you've been a practitioner for 20 or 30 years. If I don't wow you when you come to the course, then do it for free. And I will also say another thing. If you've always wanted to be a practitioner, then you come to me. Oh, yeah, but it costs hundreds of No, it doesn't. Yeah, but I don't know if I'll get the support. Yes, you will get the support. The only thing that you lack is confidence. And that was stolen from you when you were a little child. So if you want to become a therapist and you want to help people, then I'm going to show you how to become the most powerful therapist in the world. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? Because it's a scar tissue issue. It's an inflammation issue in the tissue. And it's caused because of a mind problem. And we teach that in our whole life coach certification. All right? Check us out, and you can doubt me all you want, but then take a look at the testimonials that we provide online, because put your money where your mouth is. I'm doing that. I'm the only one that offers a money-back guarantee for all my treatments. So understand something, everyone. I live in this world, but I am not of it. I do not participate in the majority of its beliefs or programs. I am the creator of my own life. And if I want to say something, and just because it seems like I'm exaggerating or I've got an ego, trust me, I have no ego. I'll tell you what I do have, okay? I know what I was created for, and it was for greatness. You were created for greatness. Let me tell you something. Everybody watching today, you came down here to be a part of what's going on right now. And we need everyone to wake up. What can you do to help your family? And I'm going to tell you something. Black, white, yellow, red, brown, I don't care. We all came from the same creator. 1,500 different religions. Oh my gosh, it's so mixed up. We are all spirited beings. Get over it. Get over it. Let's come together. We don't come together right now. There's just a few elite, small group. And look what they're doing to us now, because we're fighting with ourselves. We're fighting with our families. It's not good. It's not good, because understand something. Your life is a blueprint of your subconscious beliefs. What are you going to do today? What are you going to do tomorrow to get rid of the dysfunctional beliefs that you're not everything? Because you are everything. You are amazing. And allow everyone to be who they want to be. And I don't care if it's your daughter or your son or your wife. They have a beautiful heart and a beautiful spirit. And they have dysfunctional beliefs that they got from their parents or from the church or from someone else. And you love them well. And you love yourself well. And instead of triggering each other's pain programs, learn how to do the Braveheart hug. Heart to heart. You come heart to heart on the left side. You don't do this and try to hide. You go in. And the next time you want to get angry, say, honey, can we hug? And then you hug until both of your hearts melt. Then walk away and then see if there's anything to talk about. It'll be, God, I love you. Because it's just a program, everyone. Okay? So understand something. We die by the 10-inch lie. There was an actual study. This study was done. They took a 10-inch glass with a glass roof. A glass jar with a glass roof. Okay? They took fleas. Fleas will jump 3 to 4 feet. They put the fleas in for just 4 hours. 4 hours. The fleas kept banging up. 4 hours in a flea's life is a long time, okay? So anyways, they let the fleas go, and those fleas never jump more than 10 inches for the rest of their life. So look I'd say, flee me, free me, flee me. Do something, for God's sakes. You know what? Whatever you think that you've reached your potential, you haven't. You've hit an imaginary roof, because everything is an illusion down here. Don't you get it? I'm an illusion. The most real part of me you can't see, but that was the deal when you came down here. I think you just forgot the game. And now guess what? You're just an ant. Why are you an ant? Because you're allowing negative thoughts. And now you've got allowing negative thought syndrome. That's what ants are, aren't they? And you're getting stepped on. Oh my God. I'm getting stepped on because everybody else is letting themselves get stepped on. So we're all getting stepped on together. So listen, we're all in this together. But listen, it would be really great if everybody would just start doing their part. Okay? Holding the loving line. Saying no more. Saying bullshit. Bullshit. No more. That's what we got to say. Check out my A to Z Wellness Guide and really think about coming for a personal training and treatment, or we'll come to you. We'll teach your whole family, all right? And understand, check out my cancer scar tissue inflammation booklet in my library, okay? All of these are in my library if you want to check those out, okay? So what are you handing down to your children? What are you handing down to them? I'll tell you that you're handing down toxic beliefs. I know I did. I know I still do. But I know that I'm working on it, and I'm staying in the present moment, and I know that I'm willing to say sorry when I hurt someone, and I'm not going to say sorry to nobody for nothing unless I intentionally hurt someone. So don't say sorry anymore. Quit saying sorry so often. Okay, the church has taught us that. The government has taught us that. Well, I'm not sorry for existing. I'm not sorry for breathing. And I have the right to be here more than anybody else that's trying to hurt this planet. All right? And I have a right to be here more than anybody, Bill Gates or any of these people who are doing this. And I can say that out loud. We need to speak out loud. We need to come together. Are you going to help protect me? I'm going to protect you. Are you? Are you? I don't care where you live. Ireland, India right now, we're family. Okay? I don't know what the hell these other guys are. Okay? They're some kind of alien, draconian, whatever they are. But the reality is, how can just a few of them occupy everybody's minds and make them into landmines? How did this happen, guys? How did this happen? Sucker punched again at birth, eh? I'll tell you why it happened. Because when I was born, my dad said I was born a sinner. That's what. That's only a tip of the iceberg. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm going to hell. I'm a bad boy. I lived with that for years. Okay? All right? Now I just want to raise a little hell. I want to raise a little hell to get us back to heaven. Are you with me? Because guess what? Our children are under attack. Oh, like you never noticed it? They want to vaccinate them. They tell you they're going to steal them from you if you don't do chemo and radiation on them. The state owns our children now. Okay? They are mentally and physically and spiritually being abused, but not just by the state, not just by the medical system, but even by parents. Because until parents become unadulterated and until parents release the child within and understand that love is unconditional for themselves and everyone else, then we are going to not knowingly abuse our little children, which will abuse their children, which will abuse their children. And that's how this works. So look your children in the eye and tell them that you did nothing to change your personality, because we need to change our personality each and every day, even if it's just a little bit. Because when you change your personality a little bit, loving yourself just a little bit more and a little bit more, then you will allow your children to be the spirits that they came to teach you. But we shut them down fast, don't we? We make sure we shut them down fast. Look, at 85% of your personality is developed by the time you're 7 years old. So most will never experience true romance, will we? We never do. We never do. We go around with broken hearts all the time. We walk around injured. Hurt people. So we just go around hurting each other. You know what? They sucker punched us, guys. Every family needs a hero. Did you get that? Every family needs a hero. And the hero that we're looking for is the one that's going to lighten up. The one that knows that they're a light energy being, that they are a spirit first and foremost. So understand something, everybody. I want to say this, okay? There's Iron Man, and then there's Light Man, okay? So we got to eat light, think light, drink light, be light, show the way, become the light for your family. I want to show you a little picture here. You see that? There's my brother on the left-hand side. But look at me, the little guy on the right. Look at me roaring. I was born to roar. You need to find your brave heart. You need to find the roar inside. And that roar is standing up for your God-given right to shine. Yeah, family is everything, isn't it? It is. Family's everything, even when we have corrupted, contaminated, and conflicted love for ourselves. Oh, that's just your dad, honey. Don't mind him. Oh, that's your mother. She'll be out in 3 days. She's locking herself away in the bedroom right now. Oh, that's just your father. He needs to have a drink at night when he comes home because he's had a hard day at work. Oh, God, I just need a toke, okay? Just leave me. Let me have my coffee before you start talking at me. Keep the kids away from me. That's why I tried to put the personalized treatment and training together. I also put another course together that's called the Pain-Free Pregnancy. What if you were a young couple and you wanted to come together and learn how to love yourself and each other, and then you wanted to have a healthy baby, and you wanted your wife, your love, okay, to have a baby in a half an hour without pain. You wanted her not to have any morning sickness. Well, this is the course that we put together. Oh, that's not true, Darrell. You can't do that. Well, yes, you can do that. Thank you very much. It's the inflammation and scar tissue formation, displaced calcium, and also the incorrect diet. And also, guess what? Most men are abusive. They're abusive even when they're loving because we're taught that way. We're raised insensitive. That's why women say men are insensitive, because we are. Because we've suppressed our emotions. We suppress our feelings. And then guess what? We end up hurting our family. And that's the God's truth. Men, you're toxic. End of story. Okay? I always was a nice guy, but I wasn't. Okay? I was not a nice guy. Not to women. I was a nice guy, though. And I'm telling you this. Men, you need to change. You need to bring the more feminine side up and out. Because if we don't become sensitive to women, because they're the power that are going to stop this extinction going on. We have been taught to be so arrogant. We've been played. Let me tell you something. Why do you think we play war when we're young? Because they're getting us ready to go to war. So we can go to war with all these beautiful people around the country. 53,000 people from different countries are now watching this. And guess what? Our government could actually make me, at one time, go to war and kill you. Come to your country, and I don't even know why. Oh, wait, maybe to protect the poppy fields or to get your minerals or to get your banking system or to make up some story that you've got nuclear arms or something like that. You know what? It's amazing, eh? And then we come home and we're not heroes, are we? We don't even feel like heroes. I don't even know what's wrong with us. How could the elite get us to go out and attack our brothers and sisters is way beyond me. That's all I want to say. And understand something. When you realize that we are a family and that it's unconditional love that we need for each other, and you better know that right now because we're in big trouble, then we will become unlimited abundance. That's what we'll have because it's our God-given birthright, everyone. And you need to get that. So you better learn. You better learn from your children because children have unconditional love. When they get here, we give them unconditional love until they start walking and talking like us. And then we inflame their life, don't we? Because we don't know that we don't like ourselves or we don't like our partner. And they're acting like me and my partner, and I don't like that. Well, isn't that what they do? They mimic us. They act like us. So guess what? They're the mirror to wake us up. They're the little spirit. Do you ever notice that they can look in the mirror and they go like, oh, and they're looking in the mirror and they're just like so in love with themselves? Man, let a teenage girl do that and the parents are going to be on top of her pretty fast. When does it end? When does unconditional love end? When should it end? Everybody, this is my books, Doc of Detox Library. This is all free. And almost every one of these have a video that you can watch if you don't want to read the booklets. But understand something, unless you're going to spend 35, 40 minutes a day working on the self, okay, then you're never going to get to really know the authentic you. And you're going to have to work on it. And you're going to have to write things down when you're clear of mind because your subconscious is going to rear up just like a stubborn old mule. And then when you start rolling and getting on a roll, you'll have your family call you Jesus and Buddha. And what do you think? You're too good for us now? But that's not them. It's just their subconscious. They're not used to you loving yourself because you never did. And now you're totally getting into this thing. But after a while, you'll get a few that'll do it in the family and you'll get some that will never do it. You'll get some that will never do it and you've got to be okay with that. So you choose. Will it be inaction? Will it be a reaction? I think I'm tired of having a reaction, aren't you? We've been reacting for the last 6 weeks. Oh my God, did you hear? Did you hear? Who cares? Don't care. I want to just get my brothers and sisters together and say no more. I want us to band together and be family. What's going to happen if there was no more food? What happens if they cut off the gas? Are we going to start breaking into each other's houses too? Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pull us apart. Oh, no, they're not, Darrell. They're just trying to help us out. Yeah, well, that's why they got us walking 6 feet away from each other. And then I've got medical friends that are telling me that, you know, if it wasn't for this, we'd all have the virus, and viruses don't jump. This whole thing is just so crazy, man. But you know what? I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be born in this time of this life because I can do this. That which created me, I'm not going to let my creator down. And it's between me and him. Them, her, I don't know. But whatever, I know it exists. I know it's in me. I know it is me. Do you? Do you know who you are? I hope you do. Because self-love and repetition equals an awesome life. Self-love and repeating that day in and day out every second is going to give you an awesome life, okay? And remember something, evolution jumps only by the conscious mind, not by the subconscious. But even though people can only be in the conscious mind 2 to 5% during the day, you can do this. How are you going to do it? You're going to wear a love band. This is called a love band. This is a hug. This is saying, I love you, Darrell. And I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm with you. That's my spirit. This is a kiss. See, I can kiss myself in public and nobody's going to arrest me. Okay? And do you hear this? I can hear it. I can feel it. I can see it. I got my senses involved. There's a new sheriff in town called self-love. That's the old me. I got this. The next time I get anxiety, a little bit of anxiousness right away, instead of having anxiety, I turn it into excitement. 3, 2, 1, I got this. And if you count backwards, your subconscious can't. Keeps it in your conscious mind. And you stay there. But you've got 1 second. And if it gets back into the subconscious mind, you could run a program for 1 hour, 1 day, or even a month. How do you like that? Or you could run this same negative program 20, 30 times in 1 day and drive everybody mental. Well, like that's not happening. So you want to take a look at my Braveheart stuff. You really do. Okay? You know what? And don't say it's childish because guess what? Until you release your inner child, you'll never know who you truly are. Because guess what? Thoughts are your greatest medicine. So I hate myself or love myself? Which one do you want to do here? Okay? Which one do you want to do? I'm going to leave that with you. If you want my copy of my book, Healthy to 100, I'll send it to you for free because I'm abundant. I'll send it to you for free. And I'll send it anywhere. And all you got to do is pay the shipping. That's it. So it's up to you now. Do you want to unleash the unseen healer from within? Because it's all within. And if you don't go in, you're going to do without. And if you go out there to find it, you are going to be so abused. Okay? Check out my new World Practitioner training at itioh.com, everyone. Whole Life Coach Certification. It's a nutritional, emotional, and spirited course. Whole Life Facial, Wolfe Facial Sculpturing, and the Perfect Pain-Free Pregnancy course, and Wolfe Non-Surgical Certification. And I promise you that when you leave, you'll be able to do what other practitioners cannot do, and you'll be able to do it in a few minutes. All right? So here's the deal. From this moment on, I promise to take massive personal action because that's the only way to have self-healing. Without self-care, without self-love, there is no self-healing. Okay? You can get someone else to heal you, and that's only temporary. The next time that somebody says, I'll keep an eye on that for you, just understand that that's a BS belief. Okay? Dysfunctional belief system. All right? And guess what? You've got a universal pharmacy in there, and it's called your heart. Fill up your heart with love. Okay? Listen, it's a self-serve job. It's not up to anybody else to fill up your heart. Listen, you're going to be with yourself for eternity. So let's see, on a planet that doesn't want you to have unconditional love for yourself, self-care for yourself, let's see if you can pull that off. 1 out of 10,000 people can only do that. I know a lot of great practitioners that don't love themselves. They're really good at what they do, but they cannot love themselves, but they can love you. Why is that? Because they don't even know they're programmed. So understand something: self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-trust, self-honor, self-discipline is the prescription for love. And it always will be. Love is just an ingredient, guys. It's what you do with it that matters. If I have to hear one more song about love, I want to hear about self-love. You know, I can remember 20 years ago when I started really pushing on the self-love, and people would say, you're self-centered, you've got an ego problem. And they actually thought that it was evil to do this. Well, look where we are now. Look at we are now. Everybody with your belief systems that self-care and self-love is a sin or something we shouldn't do. Look where we are right now. And what would you like your children to do? Love themselves just 10% and then leave the other 90% up to the world? How's that worked so far? Why are we locked in the house? I'm not sure. Can somebody help me with this? It seems a little crazy to me. So guess what? Let's make a promise today. We are no longer going to react. We're going to become a Braveheart lion. And we're going to sit back and we're going to observe, not judge. When you judge, somebody's got to be punished. We're not out to get somebody punished. We're out to observe so that we can strategize. Because if you're not strategizing right now, okay, then you're an inflammatory being. So, never have a reaction. Take action at the appropriate moment. Get into your lion heart breathing. Focus yourself. Center yourself. Quiet yourself, because God only whispers. And that's a really important thing. So, I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment that I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will trust, I will honor, I will respect, I will protect, I will forgive, and totally love myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can, I'm healed, I'm Braveheart, and I will hold the line and teach you to do the same. And understand something. When you can do this, you will unleash the power to heal, not just for yourself, but for your family. And never forget, you are an infinite being. You are infinite consciousness. I know it's hard. You keep seeing this physical body, and there's things that you're picking apart on it. Do not pick anything apart on it anymore. Love it all. If you're 100 pounds overweight, love that right now. because you can get rid of that, because you can love it gone. If you're underweight, you can love your weight to come back. And just wait. Be patient. Work with yourself and start to really notice things and never talk down to yourself again. And if you do, you say sorry. And then you go to the mirror and you look into your eyes and you tell your body that you're sorry and that you will protect and you will respect it, and you'll start doing mirror work. You'll do the love band work. You'll do the couples connection. You'll do the personal connection. You'll start doing your research. And you'll start understanding something, that what created you, that created the whole universe, has never judged you and has loved you beyond love. Love is just something we do down here. So you need to get that. That only happens here. What happens with our Creator is beyond love. We don't even know what that is. We would melt if we felt that. It would be too orgasmic. And I mean orgasmic. So understand that. So when you find your total self, you'll find the child within, and you'll turn that kitty litter into a sandbox. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget, everyone, tomorrow, June 19th, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, join me for the live Survive or Thrive Q&A, where I will answer all your questions from YouTube, Facebook, and Intercom. So write your questions down below and let's grow. When watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe below and make sure you click on the bell to enable notifications so that you never miss a show. And here's our upcoming shows. Monday, June 22nd, Doc Talk Q&A, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wednesday, June the 24th, Inflammation to Cancer, a Scar Tissue Issue, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And just know this, all our shows and our Q&As are time-stamped so that you can find all your questions and topics easily. Also, if you wish to listen to the audio version of any of our shows, you can find them on iTunes, Spotify, or SoundCloud. For anyone who wishes additional information or training, please stay to the end and you will be able to see where you can find all the links to that which you seek. Again, thank you to all my listeners who make this show possible. God bless everyone, and take your power back to heal. Better still, why don't you stop giving it away? And just remember this, when we stand together, 3, 2, 1, we got this. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.